So like, no, I didn't get married to have kids. I got married because I wanted to do so.
That's what's up. But majority of men, right? They get married to, of course, have a wife, but also to have kids. So in the prime age that we're talking about fertility. We're not saying that women can't have kids after 30 or 30 to 40 and 40 to 50, because that's what's happening now. Sure. But you're more fertile during this time. So that's the only prime that we're talking about. We're not talking about if you're mentally ready, financially stable. So let's keep it where we're talking about. He got the statistic from obstetrician, from medical, right? They're talking about the body, the organs and all that. That's it. I don't know why we're changing that.
Well, let me see if I could. I think Bohe made a good statement about the
40-year-old man was looking at my 10-year-old, and then she kept
down in society.
I'm sorry. And are we talking about virgins here? Because your daughters ain't virgins. Y'all be acting like your daughters is running around here, little virgins till they're 40. Virgins. Okay?
Well, mine are.
Here.
Yeah. Smex is going to
old.
Smex
her
is
own
going
father
to
vouched for her. Her own father vouches for her. She's an adult. She can make her own decisions. So, look, we try to use this whole pedo thing as we just stretch. You're 18 years old. But I do want to talk about the Christian.
Constant.
Trying to get to Shannon.
And so when you're leading with money when you get used for your money, when
I refer to as being financially objectified. And if you go ahead and lead with your wallet, then yes, you deserve to be financially objectified.
A particular group or person or whatever accountable you got. Somebody said men only want women for their body and reproduction. Cool. But let's flip that. What else are a lot of these women actually offering? Loyalty, that's rare. Peace, uncommon. Submission, a lot of women don't even like the term, they get triggered. If you want to try to push a vision for a woman to build with, hell no. But let's be real. Half of them don't even believe they need a man. But somehow they still want his money, his time, his lifestyle. So when a man wakes up and realizes the only thing she brings to the table is some head and some hips to grip while he hit it from the back, why should he feel bad? Y'all be saying I don't need a man for a decade. Now it's a problem when men treat y'all like we don't need you either. No, that's just a rabbit got the gun now. And in this climate, if a woman doesn't meet a strict high value standard, she for the streets, period. So if a man chooses to slut her out and keep it moving, no guilt needed, because she don't value herself like a wife, and her mama damn sure didn't raise her to be one.
Question. Is there any men on the panel that's married? Anyone? I just need one. Any man on the panel that's married?
All of us are.
Darren, you married?
Yep.
You married?
Yep.
You married?
I am married.
And the women and the loyalty. You married.
That's what I was gonna say. Come
on, that don't make no damn sense. The women not loyal, but I got me a loyal woman sitting beside me. The women don't submit, but I got the ability to put her in a motherfucking feminine place. The women don't do this, but I'm that man that can make a woman do that, because when I step, she understands that I'm a real one. That don't make no sense, y'all. You got a good woman. So your woman loyal, you married, but the women not this, but you experiencing the stuff that you saying you ain't getting.
So we can stop there for now. So as you see, Shannon was ready to jump on this because all the men on the panel are married. So my question, do you all feel that married men should be able to speak negative on women? Even though they might have someone great in their corner, should married men have a voice in this conversation?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just because you're a married man doesn't mean you can't see what's going on around you in the world. Like, that's what being objective is. You know what I mean? You can recognize, hey, my situation is becoming more and more rare in the world. You know what I mean? And you can acknowledge the fact that, you know, finding a good, strong, solid wife is like becoming more of a diamond in the rough day by day due to a lot of different factors. You know what I mean? So I think you could be married and acknowledge that. I don't see, I mean, objectivity is objectivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Crystal?
I agree to a degree because as a woman, I can also understand and speak on behalf of men and understanding how men struggle, right? And have issues with the way that women behave, right? Or the rarity it is to find women that are like-minded, right? Even me developing friendships with other women is difficult at times because of the way that they carry themselves and the way, I guess, their mindsets and their values. So I can understand where a man would be frustrated. But I do feel that it can be, what's the word? Un unproductive to the conversation, right? Whereas as a married man who is able to obtain these things and have a woman of value, and how did he, instead of contributing to the conversation in a negative light about women aren't this, women aren't that, you can't find women, why are they not going, this is what I did to find my wife. This is what I did to, get my woman. Why are they not contributing to the conversation in a positive light? Right. Versus jumping on the train. And I think they jump on the train for the negativity because it's easier as far as getting a following for the platform, because it's easier, especially, I'm sure you'll agree, this day and age, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, they prefer to be validated in their experiences versus being held accountable for where they could change and grow, right? So why aren't more men hopping on the side of, look, this is how you can get what I have, instead of, yeah, you're right, it's going to be hard, even though they can see that there's still an opportunity to help like your fellow man build and grow and hold them accountable versus, you know what I mean? That's what I choose to do with the women around me, right? We don't have discussions about why men are this, that, and why men don't do that. It's where are you going wrong? What are you putting out there that's attracting the wrong kind of men, right? So we look at the positive side of how we can change things and grow. So I can understand why married men would want to talk on it because they've got single friends, but I just
Yeah.
don't understand where that shows the benefit men as a whole.
I'm a still one of classic lines because they tried to do it the other way. That's one of the things I've noticed on, especially on the platform, is that even when you are successful in whatever your trade may be or whatever your relationship is, a lot of people still tend to ignore the positive things and focus still on the negative things. Because Doran does later on in this video goes and explain that, he found his wife, he found her early. She was younger than him. She grew up in a 2-parent household. He explains all that stuff of how he found the right person or whatnot. With that being said, Classic, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel a lot of times when we do try to express the positives to women, it still is overlooked by the negative.
I can't I can't really correct you. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. You know what I mean? But that's a lot of people are like that. That might be a human nature thing. Because even with men too, like content creators, you may, get 10, positive content. I mean, comments under a post, and then one person say something crazy, and you'll devote, 30 minutes to a back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that might be some human nature more so than like a women thing for sure. But yeah, I just think they have like strong allergies. They're allergic to accountability, man. It's just one of them things. It's just, they just don't take it well. You feel me? And that's in America, period. White, black, all of them.
How did y'all feel about the part when he stated that his wife is older than him and she doesn't want to have children? Would that be a no-go for you guys when it comes, like, if you were looking to be married or find a partner?
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me. Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me. These genes got to live on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What about you, Crystal? How you feel about that?
Well, because I know women, there's a lot of women that feel pressured into having children that have no business having children, right? But I also know that there's a lot of men out there that have children for the sake of legacy, not the sake of being fathers, right? So there's people out there have no business having children. But if you get into a relationship with somebody and it's understood from the jump that you guys do not want to reproduce, then you should not reproduce. But I do think it's problematic, and I do believe that it should be a deal breaker when you enter a relationship with somebody and either one of you wants to have children and the other one's even on the fence about it, because it could stand to create resentment down the road, right? Like for me, I've been married, I have a child, right?
Mhm.
If I were to marry again, I would want that option open to me, but it's not a requirement, right? Because I'm also aware at my age that a lot of men have already capped out on the amount of children that they're going to have, or that the responsibility of playing stepdad to a child that's not theirs. Like, I understand all of that, so I'm more flexible to it being my age and the fact that I've already had a child, but I am still open to it for a man that I know would be a present active father. So I don't know. I think it just kind of depends more on the couple, right? It shouldn't be an all-encompassing thing. It's per relationship, but I do think it should be something to definitely look at as far as pursuing longevity in a relationship if there's an imbalance, right? Because of course,
Mhm.
even from a biblical sense, you need to be evenly yoked, and that should be in all things.
Okay. I'm gonna play a little bit more because I really want to hear Classic and Chris. I want to hear y'all opinion about some of the things that Shannon's about to say and see if y'all agree or disagree. So.
But isn't that what you do to the men, though, Shannon?
There are plenty of
Let
there
him
are
finish.
plenty. Pause. 1 second. There are plenty of good women out here that are ready and ripe for the picking. And all you gotta do is say, I got you. You do what you're supposed to do as a man, the woman go do what she's supposed to do as a woman. It works. My whole family is married to black women. I don't know what an interracial relationship look like. All I know is black women. That's all I care about. And I know that black women are the most loving, the most submissive, the most all that you name. As long as I do what
Not
I'm
all.
supposed to do and
Not
walk
all,
in my
but I do
purpose and
wanna
my
say
leadership,
this,
I'm
Shannon.
gonna get that. Now, how can a married man up here? Hold on, lady, wait, pause 1 second. How can a married man who is experiencing the love and the things that he's saying that they not getting, get up here and say that this is what men are not getting when he getting it? I'm getting it. There
Well,
are
if it's
men in my
Isn't that
family
what you
getting
do
it.
to men, though,
My
Shannon?
friends
You
are
come
getting
here
it.
and
That don't
drag
make
men
no
all the
goddamn
time.
sense.
do you
Shannon, you
want me to
monologue
do you want
enough.
me
That
to
don't make no
respond,
damn
or you gonna
sense.
keep it?
You make video after
Yeah,
video about how
I
men
can't.
are
How
so
you
bad
gonna
with
respond when
label
how
you the
you gonna
loving
respond when
husband.
Dr. Lady O responded?
How you the
She
only loving husband?
she gonna cape
You
every
know
time.
I'm gonna cut you
I'm a
off.
loving
How you,
husband.
how you the only
I'm a
loving
loving
husband?
husband.
All other black men are bad men. You
I
do the
was just
I
same
didn't
about to
say
thing
I
ask
the
was.
way
that.
these
Like,
men do the
I
black men.
never said I was the only
You
loving
do the
husband.
same
He
hypocrite.
didn't say
You
that.
a hypocrite, dude.
I
He's
didn't
making a point.
say that not one time in
Always
my
dragging
statement.
black
Darwin
men.
is a
You
loving husband.
always dragging black men,
Yep.
Shannon. But you
Darwin,
cannot.
I'm always dragging trash. I
No.
will you damn right. I will drag the trash black man. I will
Okay, and
drag
they
the
have a right,
goddamn
and
murder.
they don't have a right.
I will drag it. Lady, I will drag any nigga who open up his mouth about the woman who gave birth to me. I will drag any goddamn
You
man who
talking
get up
about a
on here and
small
disrespect
percentage of
my group
men,
of women.
though,
Point
Shannon.
blank, period. Because that's what a man's supposed to do. I'm supposed to have more smoke for men. That's
And
what a
I'm
man
supposed to have
does.
smoke for women,
What is
right?
y'all
And I'm
talking about?
supposed to have
When
for
we gonna
women.
start acting like men again?
Am I
When we gonna
supposed to go
start
after
acting
the
like
women,
men again?
right?
You got these
Lady
dudes who
O,
spend
you
more
do
time
go after
addressing
men.
women
Why you
than
mad at
addressing
Shannon
a
for going after
goddamn man
men?
You act
who
like
call
I don't
themselves
need
leaders
to.
and shit.
Shannon,
You got it.
So what do you guys think about his continued? I seen what you put in the chat, Classic. So let me know what you think.
Yeah, I said shit. Yeah, listen, numbers don't lie, man. 27% of black women are married. To my knowledge, that's still the least out of all the out of all the people, the ethnicities, black women are the least married. So with that being an actual fact that we can calculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since he's right, let's say he's right. Let's go with Shannon. Shannon, you right. They the most nurturing and the most lovingest, most perfectest, warm and supplest that you could possibly get. Okay, cool. So you right. But they're also the least married. So then my question to him would be why? What's the why? What is the okay? That's not the reason. They not angry. They not rude. They not disrespectful. They don't have treacherous past that they trying to get around. They don't come with baggage. None of that's true. None of that's true. They amazing. They amazing. We're gonna roll with Shannon. They amazing. Okay, so why then? Why then? You just a 20-pound sea bass swimming by the shoreline, and don't none of the fishermen want to catch you. None of them. Not interested. No, just why? Just why? I'm not even saying how I feel. I want to know a rational reason. What's the why? Why? No, it's not just us. It's not just us. It's not just us. Nobody married. See, with us, our rate is a little higher because when we decide to step outside, we can go outside and have success. No, dudes from other races, like, no, not for me. Yeah. Not for me. Did you grow up in the suburbs? Did you go to private school? Them the type of sisters white men date. Grew up in the suburbs, went to private school. White men don't date Lakeisha. They don't. When they go black, they go suburban black. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. That's what it is. So, bro, if we just having a real conversation, if he's not full of shit, then I want to know why they the least married women in the country.
Key, what you got for us, Key? Anybody else in the chat that want to female wise?
Yeah,
go ahead, Chris. If you got anything for we here to we are actually here to learn and listen. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't. So I listen to a lot of podcasts and content where it's all Black female panels, and the reason being is because I like to understand their perspective, because I can't say I advocate for women if I neglect a group, right? Because their struggles, their issues are uniquely them, right, in some aspects. And so if I can't understand their perspective, then I can't say I advocate for women, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, I can't really tell you, but I do believe that may be in part, not necessarily that they are undesirable, but maybe part of it is they don't want to pick. Does that make sense? Right?
No, elaborate.
It makes sense to me, but I don't know if you mean it the way it's making sense to me, though. Go ahead.
I think that in a lot of cases that there are a lot of women of color that may choose not to marry, right? Versus it being that they're undesirable to be married, but that they choose not to be married, right? Versus, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the statistics and you look at the numbers and you look at the complaints that Black men or other men have, right? The general, stereotypes that are placed on Black women, that it's, oh, they're undesirable. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's that they don't want to be chosen, right? Then kind of going back to what I said earlier in the chat where I talked about that they have a disadvantage, right? Where statistically speaking, they don't grow up with fathers in the household. So who's to teach them how to love a Black man, or any man for that matter, if there is not a father in the household, right? I know how to move about a man because I did grow up. I was privileged enough to have a father in the household, right? So that's where I learned how to submit to a man, right? To follow a man's lead and to learn how to love and respect a man was by having the relationship I had with my father, which most Black women, or there's a large number of Black women that don't have that same opportunity, right? And instead of being held with grace, where they are taught by somebody, whether it be a brother, an uncle, or some other male figure in their life, how to do that, right? Given the safe space to learn how to do that, they figure, well, it's their problem. I'm just not going to pick, because if I pick, then I'll do wrong. You know what I mean? I think that may be an underlying thing for that. But once again, I can't speak because I'm not a woman of color.
No, you so nice. You know what? You are so kind. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love the perspective. You know what I mean? Because it's such a delicate touch to the conversation right before I have to tell the truth. You know what I mean? Because I'm with you. It sounds good for such a small percentage of them. You know what I mean? No. The truth is, a lot of what you said is so true. And it's why, generally speaking, the experience that a man gets with a long-term relationship with your American black woman, it's a deplorable experience on average. Are there special ones? I say it all the time on my channel every day. Good women be louder. Don't I say it all the time? Good women be louder. We know y'all out there. We know it's not a whole bunch of y'all. We know y'all be in the house. We know. Be louder, because the thoughts, the 304s, the Jezebels, they screaming everywhere. They from the mountaintops, they on the panels, they got their own channels, they got boutiques, they screaming. You know what I'm saying? They on TikTok, they everywhere. And I just tell the good women, because the truth is, like, those diamond in the roughs, men are exhausted. They're no longer mining to get to the diamonds anymore. They didn't left the mines. They done left the mines altogether. The diamonds are buried too deep now. You know what I'm saying? They all the chipping and what it, like the way what you articulated so elegantly, it shows up horribly. It's a horror film for a man. The results of what you're talking about, the lack of the male presence in the household, how that shows up on the first love boyfriend, how that reveals itself to him, it's traumatizing. What up, Sasquatch? Sasquatch in the building. Chat 333 early. You know what I'm saying? And so I understand the why behind it, and I don't disagree with the why. But if we don't address the what as our reality, we'll never resolve anything. It's like every time it's time to talk about the harsh reality of the fallout, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to finish the conversation at that point, because you know what I'm saying? It involves some, you know what, you're right. Because I didn't have my dad in the crib, I've been giving out a shitty experience to the men that I deal with. I'm avoidant, I'm this, I'm that, because we get the why. But if we're not, we never get to address the what, because of the accountability issues I talked about. So I don't disagree with you. I just think when it's time to go to the next step of that conversation, that's always the demark. What you think, Norris?
I like your mind analogy, but I would tell people winter is coming. So you should, but no, I agree. I feel that especially coming from a mental health space, that I have a lot of experience in. Even the black women who I have experienced that had fathers don't have a positive experience. And the reason why I say that is because the black community are starting. This is something we never talk about on any platform. Black communities are starting to experience so early pregnancy today's day. You got to think about it. I'm a prime example of that. I had my first child at 18 years old. Yeah, you got to think about. I mean, I was blessed to be a great father and have a great relationship with my daughter, but you got to think about people having children at 16, 17, 18 years old. What positive experience can you really have at that young of an age as a child? You know what I mean? Like, because you got to think about it. When I graduated high school, it was 04, dog. It was still Nokia cell phones and a brick. All you could play was Caterpillar. You know what I mean? The first like fancy phone was a flip phone sidekick. And then at that point, you had things like Black Planet, MySpace, Moco Space, stuff like that. It was still easier because you wasn't as distracted. But you think about kids now, it's children having children. So I think as we continue to go through society, it's going to be even harder. It's no longer going to be about having a father in the house, because most black men, when you look at them from a social media lens, what do most black couples look like? It looks like a black woman running the house. You got men out here wearing matching pajamas for Christmas.
Yeah.
You got all these things that black men are doing that are actually demasculating themselves.
Yep.
Instead of them looking like the head of the household. We think, we talked about this with Plug. I always tell people, we think over compromising or doing the things that we feel are right towards our partner are positive things, but some of that stuff is just things you've been programmed to do.
Yep.
And it's actually you losing more and more of your dominance or your dominion, as the Bible will say, your dominion as a man. I feel like we have to get back to the foundation of what does manhood really look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's hard to say. The statistics can be right, but the statistics also don't look at the outliers of life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
There's people who had both mother and father, but these are kids raising kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard. And then with everything else, well, homosexual, everything making such things so much more difficult, man. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, you got. Oh yeah, you said many women are financially independent, and one of the tradition for a marriage was to combine assets. If you look at women like Oprah, Halle Berry, Vivica Fox, and Rihanna, these are influential women who are not married. Rihanna is a billionaire baby mama. I mean, all of that stuff is good when you live in a first world country.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people spoiled and able to live in delusion and illusion because we're in a first world country. There's a lot of conveniences that offer the appearance of safety around here that got women thinking they don't fundamentally at a baseline need a man's protection. There's a reason why it was you supposed to get handed off from your dad to your husband, covering to covering. You never not supposed to be under the umbrella. All this running to the store at 6 o'clock when it's about to be dark. Like, yeah, okay, let the grid go down. You'll see if you don't need no husband or no grown ass sons or somebody around. Let the grid go down. All alleged for content creation purposes. I'm just saying, fundamentally. I tell women all the time, and it sounds scary to say out loud, but it's true. You are as safe as the nearest man to you is sane. If that dude next to you, if that dude behind you in the grocery store lose his mind right quick, most women, unless you part of the little 3-4% of G.I. Jane chicks out here, you in imminent danger. If your pepper spray ain't on tuck, you in trouble. It only take one blow from him. You discombobulated. Off rip. So yeah, you need a man's covering. I ain't trying to hear none of that. They can say what you want. Outside finna start. They giving you all the signs. They setting you see they prepping the public. It's finna be some type of catastrophe that go on. And when it happens, all these I could do bad all by myself joints gonna be the most vulnerable. And God bless. I'm gonna pray for them. Because I can't save them all. They don't want to be saved. Yeah. I know I took it left, but it's real though. I get so tired of hearing it. Like, like the concept of like money replacing men that was given to you by the government, literally. You can't replace a man's presence with a check. You just can't. You can't. It's just like if you ask the average quote unquote baby mama, like, would you rather have a present father for your child, boy or girl, or would you rather get a lucrative child support check? I would be interested to see what percentage of the single mothers would choose which in our country. If they could answer it anonymously, I would love to see that data, just to see where the mindset of the average mother of these babies is. You know what I'm saying? How many of them would choose the lucrative child support check over the presence of the man? Oh, I can go find these kids another daddy. Send that bread. You know what I'm saying? Like what? I wonder. I just wonder. I don't have the data, but that would be a great thing to get a census on.
Do like a baby mama Squid Games. What would you think that would look like, Chris? You think more women would take the money in today's time, or you think they would take the presence of a man?
Unfortunately, I know that they would take the money. And that's the problem with it, right? Where because of whatever issues, the anger, the resentment, the whatever, right, in regards to the father of their child, right? I also think that's why so many women end up having children by other, like different men, because you can only get like 5% out of so much of a paycheck, right? Before that man don't got any more money, right? So I think that's unfortunately a lot of the reason why they spread the but for me, I wish, and that's one thing that I like to talk about to try to change the mindset and the mentality, right? Because it isn't, men aren't paychecks, right? Men are much more important to being present, being fathers. From my personal experience in itself, right? I never had my ex-husband on child support. I didn't need the money. I didn't want the money, right? It didn't make any sense. I had primary custody of her daughter, and the only thing that was required of him, maintain your sobriety and be here for her, because she needs a father. She doesn't need a paycheck, right? And so there was a lot of things that I did where I came out of pocket personally to make sure he was good so he could just keep showing up for her, right? Because I understood the presence of a father. Now, I grew up with my dad, but my dad also spent time in prison. And so I watched my mom for a lot of time raising 4 kids by herself with limited resources, right? Because my father made mistakes and he did what he had to do, and my mom had to cover that. She stuck by his side the whole time, right? Until he passed away. But my father was much more important as a father figure than he was a paycheck, right? Because I understood that how much that mattered and how important that was. It was easier for me in dealing with, and like I said, with my marriage, it ended, and the way that it ended had a lot to do with, I don't want my child to have 2 unhappy parents, right? Because I grew up in a household like that. And I understand that all that matters is that she has 2 present parents that are both on, even if it's on their own path, happy. And we co-parented well, we did very well, right? And so that being said, and especially with the situation as is now, right? I would kill to have him around, for him to be a present father figure, because that's all I wanted, right? And making it very apparent, and trying to speak into women and get them to understand how much more important a man's presence is than his pocketbook. And I tell men all the time, because there's a lot of men that fall into that mindset where that's all they do is they work, and then they shortchange experiences and go into the kids, basketball game or baseball game, or because they got to work, they worry about the bag because that's all their value is. There's so many men that are brainwashed and believing that that's all they bring to the table is a paycheck. Right, I got to provide. I got to provide. But men don't understand oftentimes in other ways that they are able to provide. Provision is not just financial. Provision is emotional safety, right? Provision is guidance. It's being able to educate, right? Way men can step up and provide in ways that, hey, maybe you found an independent baddie who makes her own money. You could still provide in her life in different ways, right? But I don't know why I went off on a track like that, but yeah, men are definitely more valuable. But I don't believe that most women in this day and age, because you have social media influencing what they should have, what they should. You even brought it up, men walking around in matching jammies, demasculating them, right? Because she's taken charge, but she's taken charge to present a certain facet, which also goes into a whole nother conversation about men's family being their status, right? A reflection of their status. And so sometimes it's a woman's job to create that image to uplift his status or whatever, however he is perceived as successful, right? But yeah, masculinity in itself is also a skew in what that actually means in a lot of different ways. And I think men perpetuate it on themselves a lot of times because, like I said, they're brainwashed and believing that all they need to do is go to work and make money.
Hmm.
And I think that puts them at a disadvantage in dating too, right?
And you said a lot there too. And before we move on, it kind of went back to, I know what Key said too. She kind of, it's very unique to me that someone of a different race can experience the same form of trauma as one group of race, but take it in a whole nother direction. Like you talked about your father being in prison and your parents not being the happiest, but they made things work. Like your even your perspective of how positive you still seeing that image is totally different than what we see in the Black culture. Like we would have took that experience and it would have been all the negative things. Well, my dad was gone for 8 years, or my mom and dad didn't get along. Like it would have been all the negative. And it's funny how people can still live something that other people would call trauma and just view it in a totally different way. And I feel like we just have to become more and more. We use the word resilient, but I feel like we don't focus on resiliency a lot in the Black culture. Like things are going to happen. You just got to be able to push forward and see the positive. He said, ask women Nick Cannon deal with. They are happy with the checks. That's kind of
yeah. To polish what you said, like we're trained victims, man.
Yeah.
It's always happening to us, not for us. We don't want to grow through what we go through,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're so superior because we got LeBron James.
All right, so this next one gonna be Lapeef again, man. We got conversational Shannon again. Went ahead and moved ahead. But this topic is, should women contribute to men's conversations? So here we go.
Feelings, ego, or hypergamy. And what are you basing that on? Personal stories or actual stats? Because saying men lost good women without context makes it sound like men are just out here fumbling blessings, when in reality, a lot of these women never solid to begin with. So what do you mean? All right, and where are you getting it from?
So here's the problem. When I try to dissect this and I start saying, why are women leaving in a divorce? Y'all gonna say, or what usually happens, not y'all. What's usually gonna happen is you're gonna say that it's a term y'all use where you group it all together, irreconcilable differences. But when you actually go into what the reasons are, infidelity, finances, things like that, you failed her. You failed that woman. But wait a minute, irreconcilable difference. That's just a branch.
Infidelity is not top of the divorces, though. Infidelity is not number one in divorce, though.
But again,
because you monologue, now you're going on and on about stuff that's not true.
I'm contextualizing it.
And the majority of women have.
I'm starting with the divorce rate first.
You said something earlier.
I'm starting with the divorce rate first.
Something about when,
lady. Oh, I'm starting with the divorce rate first. I'm gonna bring it back down to you. I will bring it back down to younger ages.
Shannon.
I will bring. I'm starting with the divorce rate. I'm attacking it from all different angles. If you give me a second,
because I'm a stat person. Bring it up.
Bring up why. What are the top 5 reasons? What are the top reasons?
On the list.
I can't, Darwin. I can't answer you, bro. But see, that's the problem. When a man is trying to check a man and have a conversation with a man, it's one woman who tries to jump in and be Captain Save a nigga. Let a man handle business.
No. Stop it real quick. I know you ain't planning on stopping right here. No, stop it.
No, I was.
No. He was just no. I was
waiting. Go ahead.
Just talking about how cooperative they are, how you got a perfect example at home, and how we shouldn't say nothing bad. And then you trying to hold a civilized conversation and you can't finish a sentence. You can't finish a sentence. You can't finish us, brother. When you know how you got to keep starting over. No, I'm trying to contextualize it. Can't get a word in. And this woman got gray hair like Storm. She's set in her ways. She's been like this for 5 decades on the low side. Come on, man. Nah, man, we not gonna let that slide. Pause that right there. No, sir. He just got done defending the whole sisterhood. There ain't none but sisters up there. They won't let you talk, boy. And all of them got it, and all of them then dated some men and gave them that experience that you getting right there. Right there. They tried to have a conversation in the house and they couldn't finish 1 sentence, 2 sentences. And they spent the whole conversation trying to start over on their point, hitting reset on their point while she getting all her shit off. And they got way more stamina for that shit than we do. We'll be done talking. All right,